Welcome to your first lesson in your first module of Level 3 Math. In this module, we're going to look at only whole numbers. So whole numbers start at 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. They do not include fractions or mixed numbers or decimals or negative numbers. We're only going to look at whole numbers and look at the operations for whole numbers and practice those. We will get to those other ones later on in the course. When we look at large whole numbers, we separate the digits into groups called periods. And this first group here are called the ones. So that would be numbers from 0 up to 999. The next group of numbers, those are the thousands. So in this case, we have 120 thousands. And the next group are called the millions. So we have 480 million there. And then the last group is the billions. Okay, so this, if we look at the number 4 here, it's in the millions period and it's in the 100 position in the period, so it represents 400 million. The 8 is in the tens position, so it's 80 million, or 8 times 10 million. Okay, so let's look what happens next with these. Depending on how old you are, you might have grown up with numbers like this, seeing numbers like this, where the periods are separated by commas. Now that is still done in the States, so it's still very common for us to see, but the Canadian method more matches the European method where it's a space between the periods. I'm okay if you feel the need to put commas in to separate the periods, you may do so. Just recognize that this is how they will generally be presented for you. Now we're going to talk about writing our whole numbers using words. And I'm not worried so much about the spelling, but the fact that if you can write out the word, even if there's a bit of a spelling mistake in it, it really also helps you think about the value and the place value of the number. And so we're going to just look at the rules for that as well. Okay, so when we write the numbers using words, we use a hyphen for a 2-digit number. A number like 627 is written as 627. Some of you might be tempted to put an and in there, 627. We do not put the and there. An and would be reserved for if we're adding a fraction. So if we had 627 and a half, the and would go there. So don't put an and between the hundreds and the rest of the value. Okay, so here we, and I mentioned this earlier, if you look at this chart, you can see the different periods. And for instance, in the thousands period, the first number, if there's 3 digits in the thousands period, the first one is 100,000s, the second one is 10,000s, the last one is thousands. Millions also go by 100 millions, 10 millions, millions. Same with billions and same with trillions, etc., except that we won't be dealing with numbers that large. So we're going to do some practice writing numbers in words. What you can do with these videos, and this will work for all of the videos that we do, when you see an example, feel free to press pause on the video, try it yourself first, and then hit play and check your work. And you can do that at any point in the videos and go back and forth in the videos as well to help you learn the material, because that's what it's all about, is you being able to master the material. You might want to watch a couple of examples and then try the last couple of examples yourself first. So see what works best for you. So here I have this number and I want to write it in words. See the break there? So that means that the 2 and 3 are in the thousands. So that means I have 23,000. And then in the hundreds or the ones period, actually, I have 735. So I'll put a comma after the 23,000, 735. I'm going to read you the B and then I'll write it out for C. On these videos I'm using a stylus and it's hard to get enough space and actually to do things really clearly. You will see that when we're doing algebra and other types of math that we do every example, but I'm going to skip a couple of these examples just because of the space and time restrictions. If we look at B, that first set of 3 is thousands, so I have 270,000, comma, and then 516. Okay, so now let's move down to C and do that one in writing. So I have my ones period, my thousands, and my millions. So I have 6 million. And then look at the thousands. There's 207 of them. Sorry, and I keep saying the and there as well, which I really have to stop doing. 207 of them. So 207,000. And then the last part is 500. Done. So now I'm going to just scroll down here so that we can continue. The next one is I've got ones, so 670. I have 49 in the thousands and 15 in the millions. So I would write that as 15,049,670. I'll write out E. We've got nothing in the ones, so we won't even write anything for that. We have 700 in the thousands, 192 in the millions, and 3 in the billions. So this is 3 billion. 192 million. Oops. And then in the thousands, I have 700, so 700,000. And I don't need to write anything for the ones because there is nothing there. I'm finished that one now. Okay? So likewise, if we look at the last example, we have nothing in the ones, 987 in the thousands, nothing in the millions, and 56 in the billions. So we have 56 billion, comma, we can skip the millions because there aren't any, 987,000. 987,000. And that one is finished. In this example, we're looking at what is the place value of the underlined digit. Okay, so if you look at the 7 there, you see that it's in the thousands period, right? Because it's the second group of 3 from the right, and it's in the tens part of the thousands period. So it's in the 10, oops. its place value is 10 thousands. Okay, so that 7 is worth 7 times 10,000 or 70,000. All right, the number 3 in question B, there's the ones, the thousands, it's in the millions, and it's in the 100 position of the millions, so it's in the 100 million position. Okay, so it represents 300 million. And our final example for this, for this lesson is writing numbers in expanded form. So this helps us to also recognize, along with all the rest, that a 3, the value of this 3 is different depending on where it is in a number. So this is the number 359. To write it in expanded form, we write it's 300 plus 50 plus 9. So you're just taking each of the individual digits, putting it with its place value, and adding them up. So our next one is 2,000 plus 800 plus 90 plus 5. You may want to press pause and try the others on your own first, and then hit play again and check your answers. Okay, for C we have it's 65,000, so we have 60,000 plus 5,000 plus, we can ignore the hundreds, plus 70 plus 8. Our next one, we have 157,000, so that's 100,000 plus 50,000 plus 7,000 plus 800. And there's no tens or ones, so we don't write anything down for them. All right, we are already down to number E here. We have 304,609. So we start with that 3. It's in the 100,000 position, so that's 300,000 plus, and the next one over will be the 4,000 plus 600 plus 9. And one more, we've got 4, that 4 is in the millions place. So we have 4 million, so that's 6 zeros, plus, and the next digit with value after that is 8, and it's in the 10,000s. So that's 80,000 plus 1,000 plus 500 plus 40. And that's it for our first lesson on whole numbers.